All right, you chronic masters of debation, everyone take your seats before we start the movie. And everyone really needs to give a thank you to the assault elements that secured a projector at Combat Outpost Montgomery day before yesterday. So for the first time in almost 2 years, we're going to be able to watch a movie since the last projector we had burned out. Exo, what movie do we got tonight? The Patriot. Is there anything after that? Nothing? Okay. So we don't want to overwork the projector for its first night. I got a list here of the totals of what we secured from Combat Outpost Montgomery. Now, we secured for our unit 8 NLAWs, 47 cases of 5.56, 31 cases of 7.62 millimeter belted, 12 cases of 40 millimeter grenades, and all of those are individuals, not belted, 18 cases of fragmentation grenades, 10 cases of law rockets, 5 cases of claymore mines, 8 chests or totes of medical supplies assorted. We also have 87 cases of rations, 200 pounds of potatoes, 100 pounds of onions, 120 pounds of cabbage, and 25 pounds of salt. The remaining food items that was there, we distributed to the civilians when they showed up at the end of the battle as we were loading up the vehicles. We gave them all the canned goods that were there, the rest of the spices, the meats and that stuff that were in the freezer, and the other fresh veggies. We just took some for ourselves. We also brought back 47 L85 rifles, 5 of them with grenade launchers, 7 squad automatic weapons, 5 general purpose machine guns, 5 shotguns, 2 sniper rifles, 12 pistols, 14 vehicle mounted radios and manpack radios, 8 handhelds with spare batteries and chargers. We secured those from the TOC. 11 laptops, most of those from the TOC, some of them from the barracks. 43 sets of night vision goggles. 15 sets of body armor that were not tore up. 23 rucksacks that had gear inside. And we also brought back with us 4 Land Rovers, which we kept. We didn't just get 4 or 6 pickups. The civilians got us 8. All 8 are added to our inventory now, and we also have the 1 2-ton cargo truck. Now, there was a little bit of confusion because the order was given for no prisoners. We did secure 1 prisoner and bring him back. The civilians were furious when they seen us loading the guy up because they recognized him. Now, I want to give a shout out here to Corporal Big House and PFC 6 gun, right? Yep, new one. Okay, you guys, when you were inside the TOC back in their barracks area, in their officers area, you kicked open one room, you found someone hiding off in the corner. They weren't wearing a uniform, just wearing a pair of Speedos. Purple, whatever, okay? His thing. But you guys noticed on the wall was a pressed uniform. The uniform was out of the ordinary. You called me forward to check it out. I told you guys, secure him and bring him with. Now, we brought this prisoner back. We also brought all the intel he had in his room. We brought his laptop. We brought some notebooks and stuff with him. Now, we passed him off to Lieutenant Igor in our intelligence section. Lieutenant Igor came up with a very imaginative way to get information out of the guy. Lieutenant Igor went down to the battery room inside the tunnels here at Base Camp Masada. He got the largest truck battery he could find in the battery room, loaded it up on a two-wheel cart, and also got a set of jumper cables. Now, before connecting the jumper cables to the truck battery, which is the largest damn battery I've ever frickin' seen in my life, God only knows where the hell you guys found something this size. Almost looks like something you get off a forklift, for God's sakes. Lieutenant Igor melted some rubber and plastic on a couple of the clamps on one end of the jumper cables. Now, while you were doing that, you had the prisoner sitting in the interrogation room, wearing nothing but his purple Speedos, sitting in a chair, his hands bound. Now, I entered the room. The guards were already in there watching him. I sat off into the side, in the shadows, like we had talked about with Lieutenant Igor. This was all his idea, and it was a great idea. I sat down in a chair that was brought in for me. Not long afterwards, we had someone from the mess team bring in a pitcher of iced tea and a nice glass. Set it down on a little table next to me. I crossed my legs like I was waiting for entertainment. Lieutenant Igor then entered the room. Asked a few questions. What's the prisoner's name and so forth. Prisoner, trying to be all badass in his Speedos, wouldn't give the information. Lieutenant Igor then gave a signal, and one of his minions rolled in that truck battery with the jumper cables attached. Lieutenant Igor then asked the same question over again, what his name was, and told him if he didn't give any information, he was going to make some fried hard eggs. At which point, the two guards that were behind him lifted him up out of the chair and dropped his purple Speedos to the floor. The minion then took the ends of the jumper cables that were not attached to the battery and sparked them together. At which point, the prisoner then laid the giant, seriously, it was the most hugest pile of fecal matter I have ever seen in my life come out of a human being, all across the floor, and his purple Speedos. At the same time, he also started peeing like a fire hose and pissed all over Lieutenant Igor's boots. He then started singing like a canary, and he gave us some information. He is Major Sanjay Khan of the intelligence section of the British 8th Infantry Division. He was dispatched down to Combat Outpost Montgomery to get as much intel on us as he possibly could. He was conducting interrogations of the civilians in the area and, sending out recon teams, drones to check the area, whatever he could to try to get intel. Lieutenant Igor then persuaded him, after a little sparky again, to unlock his laptop. And as soon as his laptop was unlocked, we pulled it away from him. And our tech people over in the commo section checked and made sure there was no self-destruct or, erasure programs on the laptop. That laptop was then rushed over to the intel section, and they're still going through it, getting all the intel out of it. Now, what we found out from Major Khan, Major Diversity Hire, is that the British 8th Infantry Division is about to commit 2 regiments to our area to try to wipe us out. This attack is going to begin sometime in the next week to 2 weeks. So right now we're trying to plan on what we're going to do. Are we going to pull everyone out, disappear? Are we just going to hide underground? Or are we going to start tearing shit up? My personal vote is that no fighting will be done where the base camp is, because we don't want to give away that there's a camp under here underground. We don't need them looking and finding those tunnel entrances and finding those supplies that we just captured, along with our workshops and everything else that's down here. Now, when we captured Major Diversity Hire, he had a few things with him which are going to get distributed to everyone in the unit. He had with him $78,000 in cash. He also had with him $5,000 in face value of silver and gold coins. Everyone in the unit will get a portion, including the ones who are back here at the base camp. The ones that were on the raid mission, inside the outpost, support by fire, and transportation, you will receive 2 portions. Now, we're also going to be distributing some things that we got out of their supply room. We secured 2 cases of bars of soap. So everyone's going to get a bar of soap so they can wash their nasty ass after you're done with the movies here and it's your turn to go shower up. We also got 3 cases of brand new socks. Everyone will get a pair of brand new socks, and then the extras that are left are going to be in supply for issuing out for the people that need it. Now, we're doing this a little bit different, obviously. Most of the stuff we captured is going into the company stocks, unlike what we do after an ambush, where the element that ambushes the enemy gets first pick, and then every individual that gets killed, the person that took them out, gets the first pick off that person before anyone else in that ambush gets their little pick on it. Most of the stuff is going to go into the company stores. We are allowing the people that were on the raiding party, starting with the assault elements and then the support by fire, to go through the captured sets of equipment, the body armor and that stuff, take what they need to replace stuff that's wore out. I know the questions were asked about souvenir hunting. Same rules as after an ambush. You know, the first person that gets a choice at it is the person that killed that individual or the person that found it. If they don't want it, it goes to anyone else in that squad or platoon and then outward. If no one wants it, it ends up in the company stores. So there we go. Now we'll get ready for the movie here. Everyone keep your damn pants on during this. We don't need any debation going on during the movie. Save that for afterwards in your own personal time. Alright, XO, start that movie.